Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and this video is dedicated to the Wargaming Balancing Department. I've been told that occasionally Wargaming watches my videos, so I hope when I title a video specifically dedicated to the Wargaming team, they do watch a video like this and they write down a few notes. In front of me, we have two vehicles. We have the 50TP, a Tech Tree Polish Heavy, and we have the BZ-74-1, which is currently available in the Luxury Lounge style event, where you have to spend, no joke, 500,000 gold to get the vehicle guaranteed. Now, I know there are people, even content creators, who have said that you can get the vehicle for free, but that's not really a reality. The amount of free XP, gold, or other resources like credits or boosters, premium time you're going to need to convert is such a ridiculous amount, it's not a thing that anybody's going to get. I mean, it cost me 80,000 gold, 300 days of premium, 3 million free XP, 200 million credits, all of the boosters that I had, and that's it. Like, that was enough to get the vehicle guaranteed. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. And all of that for a vehicle, which is unironically flat worse than a Tech Tree vehicle in every way. And the reason I'm making this video is to show Wargaming's balancing team why they have failed on balancing this tank properly, advice on how they could balance this vehicle in the future, and how they can properly balance other tanks in the future before they're released as well. So let's start off with a very basic comparison. The BZ-74-1 to the 50TP, right? We can take a look at the guns. Both guns are 130 millimeters, dealing 460 damage per shot. This vehicle has 240 mils of APCR standard, with 305 on the heat, with 65 mils of high explosive pen. We take a look at the 50TP Proto. This vehicle has 250 millimeters of AP pen, so it's flat better on the AP. It also has 303 millimeters of APCR. APCR is better than heat because it has shell normalization, and the high explosive has more pen as well. So just pen-wise alone, this gun is flat better. Okay, let's take a look at aiming time, dispersion, and damage per minute. This vehicle has 0.296 dispersion, an aiming time of around 5 seconds, and 2200 effective damage per minute. The BZ-74-1 is sitting at 3.4 seconds of aiming time, but worse dispersion at 0.308. Does have a bit more damage per minute, about 150 more, but weirdly enough, the dispersion's worse on this vehicle, and you'll see why that's really weird in a moment. So, gun-wise, both guns are similar, and in pen areas, the 50TP is just flat better. Gun depression-wise, this tank has 7 degrees, the 50TP has 8 degrees. Okay, how about we take a look at a mobility department? The 50TP can reach a base top speed of 36 and reverse at 15, but you have to remember, this vehicle also features gear oil, which means you can increase that top speed by 4 on reversing and top speed. So it actually goes 40 kilometers per hour with a reverse speed of 19. Not only that, it has a more effective power to weight than the BZ-74-1. So that's one thing to keep in mind. This vehicle goes 45, so 5 kilometers per hour faster. However, it reverses 4 kilometers per hour slower due to the difference in gear oil. I should also mention that the Tech Tree 50TP gets tungsten rounds, which can increase your average damage upwards of 520 to 30 a shot. This vehicle does not get tungsten rounds. Well, the final thing that you'd probably want to compare on these tanks is the armor. You'd think that because the BZ-74-1 appears to have worse stats in most areas, apart from, I guess, a little bit of top speed and I guess DPM, you'd think, maybe it has decent armor. Well, this here is the 50TP, okay? So this vehicle, really the major weak spot is the lower plate and this little hatch. I don't really know what you call that, but I'm going to call it a hatch, okay? The turret, even if you are loading gold with 320 mils of pen, does not have a weak spot. It's upwards of 400 thick. It's one of the strongest turrets in Tier 9. This is what the 50TP looks like when you're using it with gun depression, and if I pull out a calculator really quick, this is what a proper hull down position in this vehicle looks like. Where do you pen it? I don't know. Good luck. I guess you can try and hit these little corners here, but realistically, that's just not going to happen. In general, the 50TP is some of the strongest hull down armor in Tier 9. Okay, let's compare that to the BZ-74-1. Looks pretty red, right? You think, oh, with gun depression, that's not too bad. Yeah, let's load gold. Yeah. By the way, this isn't even with calibrated. This is just 305 mils of heat pen. That means Every single tier 9 and 10 will butter through this vehicle's turret. Not only that, but even most tier 8 running Kali will cut through you. Even using enhanced armor, it's not enough of a boost. It only gives it about 10 millimeters extra. The hull armor is flat worse as well. We can see that the hull armor at best is about 230 on the upper plate. The lower plate is freaking massive. The question to you, Wargaming, is why have we released a vehicle which, in all intents and purposes, is just a flat worse 50 TP on the tech tree? Let's do a game in the BZ-74-1. And let's compare it to a battle in the 50 TP. The sad part is there are so many different ways that Wargaming could have balanced the BZ-74-1 to be a fun tank. Increase its top speed to 50 kilometers per hour, allow its power to weight ratio to be about 10% better, and give it 2,500 DPM. Also give it about 20 more mils of standard pen due to the fact, for some reason, you gave it APCR. These values would allow the tank to be more mobile, would allow it to feel more like a medium, and then you could play it kind of like a heavy M, kind of like the E6, and then it would be understandable why the turret armor is so weak. But the balancing decisions that Wargaming chose basically said, nope, we're going to make it not that fast, not that good on pen, not that high on DPM, not that accurate, and its armor's not going to be good at all. It's just, I don't know, it's confusing to me because I could see the writing on the wall for this tank way before it was released. I would assume that's why it wasn't released in the event with the Waffenträger Alpha 100, because even Wargaming knew it was going to be a really mid vehicle. Alright, well, we have the Kron all the way on the side over here, and not able to hit the Kron just yet. But we'll see. We have the standard B all the way in the back over here. We load in a high explosive, and there you go. 604 damage into the rear of the standard B. That's actually a pretty nice little chunker there. We have the Kron on the side. We got the Yo on my other flank. Okay, well, the Kron gets shot, and I'm going to aim in on its... Ooh, there you go. Easy pen. Now, it looks like we're going to be YOLO'd by the Yo, because that vehicle has a completely overpowered double shot gun. Oh, great. Oh, how fun. Well, I'm going to aim in on the Kron. There you go. Nice 521. It's impressive to me how hard the enemy team's trying to tunnel me right now. I mean, both the Kron and the Yo went out of their way to shoot me. They are in platoon, after all, but still, very lame. Well, you know what? You get a 710 damage high explosive. Look at this Yo. Look at them. They're like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. No, you're not. You're definitely not gonna get me, bro. I'm gonna aim in right on your vehicle, and nice chunker for a 575 max roll. We are already up to 2,800 damage in this game, and even though I did get YOLO'd there by 2 different autoloaders, we're still fine, and we're doing a pretty good job here. Now, we do know they have an FE2 and 5 B183, and in fact, that 183 has been detected. Alright, we're going to aim in right on the side. You can obviously see the 4.6 second aiming time in action there. It's pretty bad, but it's understandable. This tank has really good turret armor, so it makes sense that you're going to balance it in certain areas and make it better in others, right? So we have the 183 crossing. There you go, nice 435. I'm not really sure what the thought process from that player was, judging that it was pretty obvious they were going to be nuked if they made that crossing. Alright, well, we're going to use our good mobility here. We're going to move up and see if we can get a shell into the T95E6. Let's drive over here. And then, because we have really good turret armor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head wide, and we can dig this E6 out. So let's do that right now. I'm not really sure why the E6 is so focused on me and not the one-shot Chieftain, but it doesn't really matter. You're cooked either way. Unless you massively high roll me. Yeah, I was about to say. Unless you massively high roll me, there's no way you're getting the kill. There you go. Nice 30 damage shot, clearing the E6 off. Pretty good game, right? We can see the mobility. We can see the tungsten, allowing me to get a 700 damage high explosive into that Yo, followed by a max roll. Tank's great. Even when you're not using it hull down and you're on flat ground, you can get bounces, you can deal damage. No problems whatsoever from the 50 TP. What I don't understand is why, as a company who wants to make money, you would release a vehicle which is so utterly garbage in terms of fun. Like, I don't know. Every single content creator that has posted a video reviewing this tank has called it mid. And most of my friends, which do have a lot of resources saved up, have said that they are not going to waste their resources on this vehicle. And it's just very confusing to me, because as a company, if I were leading a business, I'd be like, how can I appease the people and make a worthwhile reward that, you know, players would want to spend their experience, credits, and everything else on, and then also, you know, not make it overpowered and fun and everything. And Wargaming chose the route of, let's just make it the most boring vehicle in the game for no reason, and then call it a day. And that's what they did. I mean, there were legitimately so many different avenues that they could have chose to balance this vehicle properly. And, I don't know, maybe I just care too much about this game, but, like, it's very disappointing to me when I spend years and years and years of resources that I've saved up, and then they accumulate into a vehicle which is summed up by one word, and that is mediocre. I don't know. I don't really get it, though. It's weird. Yeah. You guys can let me know your personal feelings, comments, and opinions about this vehicle in the comments, but I can tell you that it is not a tank I would recommend to spend your resources on. And even if it comes out in the future, which it might, it's really hard to tell what Wargaming does with these vehicles, because sometimes they treat them like rarities. The Scepter, for example, has only been available in the Luxury Lounge style event, with a very low drop chance. So if you want to get your hands on the Scepter, you obviously have to get very lucky. But when it comes to this tank, I'm not sure if they're going to make it only available in this event, or if you spend, you know, $100, you'll be able to get it in crates coming soon. So it's very hard to tell with the Wargaming what their thought process is going to be with this vehicle. But what I can say is that there are so many multitudes of vehicles that are more interesting and engaging in just about every single category. It's very confusing. It's very, very confusing. That shell was never going to hit that Progetto. Well, that's fine. In a couple seconds, we'll have another shell. We have the AT-15. I'm going to load a gold shell to guarantee my pen on his tank. Nice 408 damage. I mean, at least this vehicle has decent levels of penetration on the gold, but it's not any better than the 50 TP. And the 50 TP is APCR, which is just a better round. Alright, well, 6 seconds. And then we'll have another shell. I'm going to poke the prog, and we're going to get that player knocked out of the game. So let's do that right now. 3, 2, 1. Bonk. No more Progetto. Okay, we're doing fine so far. I mean, this is one of those situations where you will do fine in the tank, because we're not relying on the armor. We're more relying on the gun and the damage output and, you know, what it can do. There you go. Nice shot to the KV-4. The one thing I've always liked about the higher alpha Tier 9 heavies is that they out-trade Tier 8 heavies by a very large margin. A Tier 8 heavy, you know, 400 alpha is the high. But in Tier 9, you can get upwards of 460. And that is a pretty big difference. So, at least the tank hits reasonably hard. But when you think about it, there's a lot of tanks which hit for 460 alpha in Tier 9. There's the 452K. There's the BZ-68. And what else do we have? We have E75, VK45, O2B. We have the Moishin, 452K. I don't know if I mentioned that one already. That's just the ones that are coming to my mind right now. The WZ-114 has a 470 alpha gun, which I basically count as a 460. Obviously, there's a bunch of tank destroyers as well, which all feature 460 alpha style guns. Nice high explosive into the back of the AT-15, though. That's pretty nice. I would assume, yeah, our teammate's going to get the clear into that player, and then that means we can roll off to the rear of the VK-45, get an easy pennon for 468. We damaged its ammo rack right there, so we're going to shoot it in the same spot once again, and hopefully ammo rack the vehicle. Here we go. Nope, no ammo rack. Oh, we did pretty good this game, at least. 4,500 damage. Look at the armor, though. I mean, it just doesn't get bounces. Everything pens you, everything that shoots you will pen. I don't hate the tank, but I don't understand why you would want to release something that is so mediocre behind such an expensive event. And I really hope that the balancing department and the devs end up watching this video, and maybe they learn a lesson or two, right? I'm not saying to make vehicles overpowered, but what I am saying is that you can make vehicles fun and unique in a way that isn't already existing in the tier. Why couldn't we allow this vehicle to have a top speed of 50, 480 damage per shot, and 2400 DPM? It would still be really fun, it wouldn't be overpowered, and yet it would have a different playstyle to any other tier 9 in the game. Give it 350 damage per shot and 2900 DPM. We don't have any low alpha heavy tanks in tier 9. There's so many different routes you could choose, and none of them have been picked. It's just the route of meh. So, let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you'd like to see more content like this, I'll see you in the next one. And bye-bye.